Hi again. I'm Allison Bruner, and welcome back to Together We Awaken, Finding Light in the Dark. This episode, episode 5, is about healing the inner perpetrator, meeting the inner critic with compassion. And this episode might stretch us a little because we've been exploring the victim and the rescuer roles, two parts many of us are familiar with. Today, we're going to talk about the third role on the Triangle of Disempowerment, which is the perpetrator. Now, I know that word can feel really charged, and I'm not here to label or shame anyone. And I'm not talking about the people who have committed acts of real violence or abuse, though those conversations matter too. Today, I'm talking about the more subtle internal ways this energy can show up in our lives. The part of us that can be overly harsh, judgmental, or critical, especially with ourselves. We'll look at how this inner energy or archetype can quietly shape our thoughts, our relationships, even how we show up in the world, including how it might even show up online when we're overwhelmed or afraid or trying to make sense of things. My hope is that this episode brings compassion and clarity, because the truth is we all carry this part somewhere in us. And when we learn to meet it instead of rejecting it, we unlock a whole new level of healing and self-trust. How the inner perpetrator shows up. I want to talk about that. So most of us might not want to admit it, but we've all felt at some point that inner voice that gets sharp, critical, even a little mean, especially when we're already feeling vulnerable. This is the energy of what I call the inner perpetrator. It's not a term to shame or label, as I mentioned. It's just a way to name that part of us that sometimes judges or blames. And this voice may turn inward towards ourselves or outward, at others. Sometimes it gets really loud when we're feeling insecure or afraid. And sometimes it shows up in moments when we're actually trying to protect ourselves. And for many of us, this part formed in childhood. We internalized messages from caregivers, from teachers, religious figures, or society, that told us we had to behave, stay small, be good, fit in, or keep quiet. So we learned to judge, not to judge, we learned, to turn the judgment inward, to criticize ourselves before anyone else could. Because let's admit it, it feels safer. It feels less painful when when I'm the first to judge myself, you're the first to judge yourself before anybody else can. It sort of gives you this false sense of safety, right? Other times, this part comes out when, oh my goodness, I just realized I'm not using a microphone. Give me a second, because I don't know how good this, I don't, maybe it doesn't matter, but maybe I'll just put it on for a change. Hold on. This goes directly to the inner perpetrator. I have this inner critic right now that's like, you need to start that whole thing over. That was so unprofessional of you. And I'm not going to, because I'm making a point here. So yeah, this part can come out when we are scared of being hurt, abandoned, or misunderstood. And in those moments, judgment can feel powerful, or yeah, temporarily at least. Being right can feel like a shield, but over time, that shield becomes a wall, and that wall can disconnect us from the deeper truth of who we are. And just to show you how real this is, I'll share a moment when mine totally took over. Let me get a sip of water for this. I have hay fever. And I'm, wow, in need of a lot of water. But back in September, I decided to switch my mobile phone and internet provider. I got the modem in the mail. I tried to set it up and it didn't work. So I called customer service, and right from the start, no one could find my account. It's like I didn't even exist. Somehow I got this modem in the mail anyway, and this new phone number. I was transferred, I was put on hold, passed around, and every person I talked to sounded like they were reading straight from a script. Now listen, I know they're doing their job, but when I get triggered by people who won't go off script, I go to another level, a crazy place. I start poking the bear, asking ridiculous questions just to see if I can get a real human response. It's like I turn into a cat batting around a mouse toy. I start toying with them, trying to get them to feel something, reflect something, think for themselves. It's not my finest hour. I turn into what I call, a righteous little bully. Because when I perceive injustice, which is what I felt, well, with what happened next, when I feel like someone's not hearing me or treating me fairly, there's a wound that comes right up, and suddenly I'm escalating. I'm demanding. I'm saying things like, can you please put yourself in my shoes? Are you reading a script right now? Can we maybe just talk like a human? And my voice gets shrill and I get stressed out, and I know I'm stressing them out. And I wish I could tell you it ended there, but no. I had to go back to the store several more times, and they kept charging me. They wouldn't issue a refund, and they hung up on me when I asked questions that they didn't have a script for. So what did I do? I called my bank. I filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau and all of these other federal agencies. Instead of being patient and waiting for my bank to take 30 days to do an investigation, I even contacted my state legislators, which I fully admit is unhinged, but I could not sit in the fire of feeling powerless. I needed justice. I needed control. I needed to be heard. And I even ended up emailing the VP of Customer Relations and schooling him on how to run his company. All of this is to say, my inner perpetrator was not evil. She was trying to protect me. She wanted justice, and she wanted safety and security. But the way she went about it, not exactly my most grounded, heart-centered self. If you're listening and recognizing this part in yourself, please know there's nothing wrong with you either. You are not evil. You're not awful. This is something almost all of us carry. Not almost all of us. We all have the inner perpetrator archetype. We're all integrating all three of these archetypes that I've been talking about: victim, rescuer, and perpetrator. And naming it isn't about blame, it's about healing. Uh-oh, I have a cough fit coming on.
So, this is about bringing light and compassion to a part of us that's been doing its best to keep us safe, even if its methods don't work anymore. And let's talk about when judgment masks fear. And I'll be honest with you, this stuff still comes up for me. Just a few weeks ago, I found myself right back on the triangle. Something in my life wasn't going the way I'd hoped, and I'd poured my heart into it. I had planned for it, really believed it would work out. And when it didn't, I snapped. Not outwardly this time, inwardly, towards spirit. I got in my car and I started driving to the grocery store and I just lost it. I started yelling at God. I mean, full blown rage, screaming at the sky like some kind of Old Testament meltdown. I told God he was doing a terrible job running things. And listen, I don't even believe in a man in the sky God. That's not how I relate to the divine. But in that moment, I needed someone to yell at. I needed a safe place to release what was inside of me. And I knew I was on the triangle. I knew I was also getting into victim mode, and I didn't care. I let myself go there. I yelled until I nearly lost my voice. And then I cried. I let myself grieve the disappointment because it ran deep. It was a detour. I grieved the detour, the loss of how I thought things were supposed to go. And the next day, I woke up and I apologized. Not to God in the sky, but to myself, to the divine within. I said, okay, I'm back. That felt awful, but I'm back now. And honestly, I can't promise I won't do it again because sometimes it feels good to let it out. And I think that's okay. I think that's part of being real and soft and human. The goal is never to, or I should say, the goal isn't to never fall out of alignment again. The goal is to recognize it when we do and how to come back. Most of the time, judgment, especially the kind that's quick or intense, isn't coming from true clarity or strength. It's often coming from fear. It could be fear of losing control, fear of being vulnerable, fear of getting hurt, fear of being misunderstood or rejected. And now I have to sneeze. I'm sorry, you guys. It's a tough day. So, case in point, do you remember when boomers and Gen Xers, not all of them, started talking a little trash about millennials being too lazy, insubordinate, that they didn't know how to put their heads down and work hard and adapt to the system they were born into? The ones judging were afraid of the new ways of thinking and working and living that millennials were born into this world to share with us. They recognized that the established system was a sick one, was lacking depth and meaning. I mean, who wants to spend the majority of their lives working, following orders, versus thinking for ourselves, pursuing our dreams, and living a life more in balance? A lot of them have, and I say them because I'm a Gen Xer, have embodied ingenuity and a whole new way of generating income. It's amazing. And the generations after that are bringing in even newer ways of being. We accuse them of being easily offended. And certainly there is some imbalance, but maybe you're among them. You are learning to step into their own power and will eventually teach the rest of us and also create a world in which we are more compassionate and intuitive. Do they need to toughen up? No. They're trying to understand a world that has become hardened while also bringing forth their light, their sensitivity, and they're cultivating also the ability to not take those who are insensitive too seriously. So they are our teachers, and we're teaching them how to be direct and have healthy boundaries against the meanies who call them snowflakes. So, yeah, sometimes it's easier to judge than to feel. It can feel safer to get critical or controlling than to sit in the rawness of sadness or confusion or powerlessness. So if you've ever found yourself being harsh with someone you love, or even with a stranger online, or if you've found yourself stuck in an internal spiral of criticism or self-blame, take a moment and ask, what might I be afraid of right now? What part of me is just trying to stay safe? This is especially important when we start looking at codependence, which often blends all three roles we've been talking about: victim, rescuer, and perpetrator. Codependence is typically when we're on the triangle with someone else. So rather than shaming that part or pretending it's not there, what if we get curious? Judgment doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. And being able to recognize it with compassion is one of the most courageous things we can do. So, how do we heal the inner perpetrator? I'm not sure we actually heal it. We integrate it. But it starts with noticing it. Sometimes it helps to give this voice a name or an image, to separate it a little from your core self. So externalize it. Mine, I call one of mine, because I have many, Too Much Tammy. Too Much Tammy told me that I need to stop sharing my own stories and vulnerabilities in these podcasts, that I should be more polished and professional and follow the advice of marketers who say I should make this all about you. But the truth is, there is a storyteller inside of me that wants to be reconnected with and reintegrated to fully live out my soul purpose. And she was a part of planning this episode. She has a divine purpose in this world, but Too Much Tammy tries to tame my storyteller, my authenticity, and my quirkiness. I'm thinking about something right now. I'm going to share something with you. I just wrote my most recent newsletter. I haven't sent out yet, but for those of you who are not on it, first of all, you're welcome to go to AllisonBruner.com and sign up for it. But I'll just read it to you. Give me a second. Let me find it. I wasn't going to do this, but I just thought, maybe I should. Okay. So, okay. Over the past decade plus, this newsletter list, has grown. And I've grown too. This list actually began back in 2013 when I was working as a psychotherapist. And as you've probably seen, a lot has changed since then. What I offer, how I speak, what I believe in, it's all evolved. And I imagine that many of you who started out with me all those years ago may no longer resonate with what I'm putting out into the world now. And that's okay. I'm deeply grateful for the time we were on the path together, for however long or short that was. You were part of the beginning, and I carry that with me with so much reverence. But now I'm creating something new. I'm not trying to reach everyone anymore. I'm trying to reach you. If you're still here for the real stuff, the soft stuff, the Me Too moments, the sacred ordinary, the soul of things. Side note, and so I'm reading this to you who watch these podcasts because you're going to feel this shift too. This is relevant for you and my relationship with you. I've realized something important lately, that speaking to a wider audience has started to make me feel a little performative, like I have to be polished, seem like I have to have it all together. And that's not who I really am. That's not why I'm here. In trying to speak to everyone, I lost focus of the smaller group of genuine souls I'm pulled to walk beside. I lost focus of my true purpose, to hold compassionate, nurturing space for the person who feels things deeply, who's sensitive but strong, who's tired of roles and masks, and who's quietly aching for something real. She may be unsure of her next step. He may look put together on the outside, but feels a little lost inside. She may be spiritual, but doesn't fully feel like she fits into the spiritual world. He longs for meaningful connection, for space to soften, and for permission to be himself. With a smaller circle, I can be more. I can speak directly to you if you're someone who resonates with that quiet, soul-deep longing. And there's something else I want to share. A few years ago, I used to call myself a soul sister, a human guide, and a rebirth midwife. Those words came from a deep, authentic, whimsical yet real place in me. They describe not just what I do, but who I am and how I walk with others through change. But over time, I started to wonder if they sounded too soft, too warm, not professional enough, so I let them go. I tried to fit into a more polished version of myself, one that I thought that the world might take more seriously or accept. But that's not who I truly am. And the truth is, I miss those words. I miss their honesty, their spirit, and their soul. So I'm taking them back because I'm not a guru. I am far from perfect, but I am your soul sister, a human guide, a rebirth midwife, if there ever was one. I serenade friends in restaurants, exit restrooms with toilet paper stuck to my dress, laugh embarrassingly loud and often, and dance in grocery stores, much to my sister's dismay. I give people permission to be themselves, and I slow down and get present and still with the quieter ones, because believe it or not, I'm an introvert too. I walk beside people as they let go of who they've been told to be and begin to remember who they really are. I sit in the in-between with those navigating thresholds of identity, of meaning, of becoming. I've walked through darkness. I've been broken open by life, and I know how to hold space that is soft, sacred, and honest. If you're at a turning point, if you feel the nudge that something is ready to shift, I am here with my lantern and with love deeper than you can imagine. Please take a moment to subscribe here. That doesn't count, you guys, unless you're subscribed and get the newsletter to continue receiving these letters. And if you're not feeling it anymore, that's okay too. Same with you who might want to unsubscribe. Truly, there's no hard feelings, only respect. Either way, thank you for being part of the path up to now. It has meant more than you will ever know. With big heart, Allison, soul sister, human guide, and rebirth midwife. Yeah, that took a lot of vulnerability to put out there. But back to the overcritic, or what did I just say? The inner critic. Over the years, I have met, this was kind of fun. I've met all kinds of inner critics in the people I've worked with. Some are chain smoking grandmothers. Some sound like a disapproving teacher. Some wear leather, carry whips, or quote scripture. And they were created for a reason, to protect us. So right now, see if you can get a sense of your inner critic, your inner perpetrator, of maybe what it would look like if it were something you could draw, if you could see it in your mind's eye, what it would sound like, what its words are to you. Go ahead and let it do its thing for a moment. And then say to it, and notice how it responds. Thank you. Thank you for trying to help me. I see what you were trying to do. And I know you were just trying to help me in the only way that you knew how. But I don't need you to run the show anymore. Ask the inner critic this question. What are you afraid would happen if you stopped criticizing me, if I stopped listening to you? Or how are you trying to help me? Go ahead and ask it. And then ask it, has all of your abuse towards me worked? Have you gotten what you wanted out of me? Have you gotten me to live up to your standards? Make me more palatable or acceptable or loved in the eyes of others? Did it work? Most people I work with, when they ask their inner critic that question, it says, no, you're a total failure. It does. And so why even continue to give it your power? Sometimes, though, rarely people say that their inner critic goes, yeah, it works, not all the time, but it works. And so you have to ask yourself, do you want to continue to bow to this one that abuses you, that's leading from fear? Or would you maybe consider letting your heart guide you, letting love lead instead? And when the inner critic starts to get loud again, because it will, you just let it. But don't follow it. Don't believe it. Don't follow it into the dark places it tries to take you, because it'll beat you up. Don't get into a battle with it. Don't tell it to shut up. I know there are people out there that teach that. It doesn't work. Then you're just kind of meeting it on its level. It's a losing battle. So have that conversation. Not following the guidance of your inner critic is not weakness. It's real strength. When it starts to act up again, just get really present and witness it. See, we fall into the trap of thinking it is our normal thinking, and we believe it, we become it, we identify with it, but externalize it. Don't try and stop it from speaking. Just be present. Let it scream. It'll eventually quiet down because it'll get tired of you not engaging there. And that's what lets you step out of survival and into trust. The inner perpetrator, the part of you that criticizes, judges, and controls, is not evil. Like I said earlier, it's just a protector. And you're not that child anymore. You have choices. You can get really present. You can deepen into your heart. And integrating this part doesn't mean making it go away. It means meeting it with enough compassion that it can finally rest. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to perform. You don't need to carry the weight of the world. Just be in your truth. It's a good truth. In your heart, in your presence. And that's more than enough. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself grace when you falter. This path is not easy, but I promise you, you have everything it takes to walk it. And before we part for the week, if you're not a recipient of my newsletter and you do resonate with my wacky but sincere approach to facilitating deep connection and healing, consider joining my healing circle called The Hearth. And let me get some notes here on it because I want to make sure I get the dates. In my last video, I totally spaced out and through the fog of hay fever forgot to give the dates. But okay, so up to 8 people get to sit in safe, sacred space, held, heard, and witnessed as each of us navigates our metamorphosis. You know, the challenges that we're facing, the hurt we're carrying, the spiritual awakening we're moving through with gentleness and support. I combine my almost 18 years of experience as a somatic psychotherapist with 16 years of experience as a Reiki master, 9 years of experience as a master integrated energy therapist, and 9 years as a devoted student of the Andean mystical tradition. I co-lead and facilitate deep inner shifts with my team of spiritual helpers from the natural and etheric realms. This offering means so much to me because it's a huge part of why I'm on this planet right now. So I'm offering you 2 opportunities to give it a try with no pressure. I'm holding 2 donation-based circles, one on April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's New York City time, and one on April 26th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is on Zoom, so wherever you are in the world, you're welcome. In exchange, I'm asking you to share your experience post-session in the form of a testimonial or feedback. If you're interested, I'll put my Venmo address in the description box below, as well as where you can sign up. But you can simply go to AllisonBruner.com and message me on the contact page and let me know if you're committed to attending. Or you can attend a paid session at a $50 discount if it's your first time attending on the first Monday of the month. So that'll be May 5th and every month thereafter at 6 p.m. And when those circles fill, I'll add more. Go to my group healing page to sign up for that one and use the code WELCOME. You'll get the discount. Okay, so if you got this far, thanks for listening, and I will see you next time when we will talk about inner parts work, inner child work, shadow work, whatever you want to call it, and maybe a little bit about soul retrieval. Take good care, and I'm looking forward to next week with you. Bye-bye.